Hello, hello, hello. What's up, everyone? We get into Shmos, Moshe Rabbeinu, Am Yisrael, Tzias Mitzrayim. And it's interesting that Dafka this week, Zat Hashem, some of the hostages coming back. Ele Shmois Bnei Yisrael, Hayotzim Eretz Mitzrayim, Shmois Bnei Yisrael, Hayotzim, the names of the children of Israel that exit is the acronym of Shivya, captivity. So, O Hashem, maybe we'll talk a little bit about this. First of all, let's start with the Maaseh from Baal Shemtov. Maaseh at Sipurey. Rabbeinu Baal Shemtov, his minhag was, without Mishmon very long. Sometimes he would stand there hours. And the Adam Spalalim went home, taste something. The Baal Shem Tov finishes davening, they came to Besmedrash to hear Chazal Shasatz. But the Talmidim of the Baal Shem stayed there until the finishing of the entire davening. Once one of the Baal Shem Tov's Talmidim, he fell faint because of the hunger, and maybe a few of them went home to taste something. And since they didn't stay long in the house, they were certain when they come to Besmedrash, Baal Shem Tov will still be davening Shmoneh Esrei. When they came back, they were amazed to find out that the Baal Shem Tov finishes tefillah, like usually take much longer. So they asked the Baal Shem Tov, how come he finished his prayer much earlier? And he told them this ma'aseh. He says there were many people who stood by a very high tree. One of them had very, very good eyesight, and he saw that in the very top of the tree stands an amazingly beautiful bird. But the others did not see this amazing sight. So this person had a very strong urge to get this tree, but the tree was extremely tall, and he couldn't get there. So he craved taking this bird so much. He decided all the people were there to make like a human pyramid, one top of the other. Went up, and he got to what the bird was, and he took the bird. Now the thing is that this man would not be able to get to the bird without all these people underneath him, helping him out. And if one of the people, the lowest people, would move, everybody would just crumble down. Vajato said, you should know that I'm the same thing. I'm the same way. When I'm standing to davening Shmoneh Esrei, all the olamas, all the universes, all the realms open up before me. And in them, there is the Heichal of Mashiach, which is, euphemistically, the Kabbalah and the Zohar is called the nest of the bird. It says in the Zohar. And I wanted to go to Kenat Tziport, the nest of the bird. And I can get there. So as long as you're next to me, I put you one on top of the other, and I'm standing on top of you. So when you are with me in the Besmedrash, when I'm davening, it makes me stronger and able to get up in the Madrigas. Today, since you went, I also fell down. So I didn't have what to do, so I just finished my prayer. Well, I don't think it is possible to understand. Obviously, it's not possible to understand what the Baal Shemtov, meant specifically about that. What the principle of it. I mean, the Baal Shemtov, in quite a few places, speaks about prayer in the last will and testament of the Baal Shem Tov, and also in the Sforim of his Talmidim and his grandchildren. It is mentioned the Baal Shem Tov speaks about a prayer, and he says that every single letter, let alone every single word, let alone every single bracha or every single kapitel, whatever, it has in it three elements. It has the oilimus, has the realms, the worlds. It has the neshama, and it has godliness. These three ingredients combined. Obviously, I don't understand exactly what it is that he's referring to, but it seems to me that the oilimus would almost mean like the body. The neshama means, the neshama, the soul of that letter. And the lakus is, either what the body and the soul of the letter carries, or that it puts them, that holds them together. I'm not sure. But Lamaisa says the idea is that you dive into the davening. And when you utter the words of the prayer, you're combining all three elements, the realm, the neshama, and the godliness in this letter, which combine with the other letters and makes a word, which combine, and so forth and so on. And this is when you're able to do that, when you are doing it completely, he says it's a pleasure that cannot even be imagined. Rabbeinu says already that what it actually means for us is that we should pay attention to look at what the word means and to mean it. Shemtov says, when you daven, you should understand the Kodesh Baruch Hu is in the Siddur. The godliness is in the words of the Siddur that you are reading. It's in that. So when you're saying the words of the prayer, you're enacting godliness on the realms and all the neshamas of each. It's a depth within a depth. It's all working out for us when we connect to the Tzadik, and when we pray, we keep in mind what do the words mean, and just say it. Baruch, blessed, Tov, you, Hashem, Elokeinu, Melech HaOlam, the King of the universe, word for word. That already puts everything into work. There are obviously multitudes of depth beyond depth to these things. But there's one principle that the Baal Shemtov here brings about, and Rabbeinu says it in Sichos Haran or Likutei Moharan, I'm not sure. And he says as follows. He says that when the Talmidim of a Tzadik are with him, it enables him to do things that he is incapable of doing without them. And Rabbeinu brings a proof for that Elisha, the prophet, sometimes is called Elisha, sometimes is called Isha Elokim, the man of God. So says, what's the difference? It's the same person. Why is it sometimes called Elisha? Why sometimes it's called Isha Elokim? The answer is when he is by himself, he's called Elisha. When the neophyte prophets, those, I mean, in those days, in the days of the prophets, there were academies for prophecy. There's a whole, personal purification and sanctification process that the person needs to go through even to get to a level of being, Roy, good enough to begin the process of to enter prophetic states. Then there were the techniques that were needed to be acquired in order to enter prophetic states. And then when the people, in the academy were all capable of prophesying, they got the moniker of Bnei Elokim, Bnei Nevi'im, the sons of the Nevi'im, means that they were already ready and capable of prophesying. But prophecy is just about, creating the vessel, the kalim, to prophesize. Kadosh Baruch Hu has to decide to send a prophecy to this one or to that one. But nevertheless, when Bnei Nevi'im, the prophets in waiting, I don't know, whatever you would call it, were together with Elisha, then Elisha was called Isha Elokim. Their power added to his power. And this is an extremely illuminating and important insight. We speak about the Tzadik many, many instances. And the bulk of the time, we're talking about why it is that we need the Tzaddik, how we cannot do anything without the Tzaddik, how we need the Tzaddik, for any single avodah that we perform, any service we perform, the service of Hashem. Last Thursday, we spoke about how by learning the Torah for Tzaddik, we actually, import the Tzaddik into us, incorporate his essence into us. And one of the people that were there on Thursday, he asked me, what does it mean that you bring the Tzaddik into you? What does it mean? You listen to the Tzaddik? I said, no, it doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean that you learn Torah. The Tzaddik? I said, no, it doesn't mean that. He says, what does it mean? I said, I don't know. I don't know what it means. I just know that it's true. And I said, the Torah of the Tzaddik is like a shoehorn. It's an interface that enables you to bring the Tzaddik into you. And so we're very much aware, even if we don't really comprehend what it is that Tzadik does for us. The in another place, Rabbeinu says that it is not possible for us to really do proper tshuva on the affairs that we did or that we do. Because you have to understand, it's not just the affairs that we do, it's who we defied. It's Kadosh Baruch Hu. So we don't have the capability of repenting even one avera. The tzaddik, I mean, you do what you can, the tzaddik already cleans it out completely. Taking the toll of himself, whatever it is that it costs him, and whatever it does for us and for him. But here the Baal Shemtov is opening, Rabbeinu, are opening an insight to a different reality, to a different aspect of the relationship between us and the tzaddik. And that is that the tzaddik needs us. The tzaddik needs us for the kind of work that he does for the betterment of Klal Yisrael, all the realms, all the elements. And, specifically, Rabbeinu says in the last Rosh Hashanah that Rabbeinu was very pained by the fact there were two people missing Rosh Hashanah. The Baal and the Rov, and there was another person, a very simple person. Hoisha, I think it was. Very simple person. Baal and the Rov was huge. Both of them, they were not there, which means that Rabbeinu could not accomplish whatever it is that he wanted to accomplish on that Rosh Hashanah. It's an amazing insight how much you and I are needed. How much you and I are needed. The Tzadik needs us. Kadosh Baruch Hu needs us. Klal Yisrael needs us. Every time that when we are by the Tzadik, that we daven, that we put more force into concentrating on the letters and on the words of the prayer, and keeping our head into it, and whenever it is that our thoughts stray, to bring them back. And it's okay. I mean, we are who we are, and all these stray thoughts that come into our mind, there's a reason for that. Not because we're bad. I mean, yes, but this is residue of foibles past. But nevertheless, they come to us for tikkun. The only thing you need to do is just don't look at them and continue concentrating. So if I started concentrating and my mind was swayed, okay, go back and I continue. And if I see that I said a certain section of davening and my mind is elsewhere, or I just, ran through it, okay, do it again. Do it again. Just go ahead. Say word for word. Mean what you say. And once this is built up, all the energies of concentration and excitement will already funnel into the davening and it'll become much easier. But in the beginning, it's labor intensive. But when we're doing this, we are helping the tzaddik to do his avodah. We're giving Kadosh Baruch Hu what Kadosh Baruch Hu needs in order to run the world, as it were. And ask me, what does it mean? I have no idea. I just know that it is true. All right. We will take a look at least one Sichos Haran, maybe two, because this particular one is very directive And since the Nosson put it in Sichos Haran, this is what it says. Sicha 265 is a Reish Samech Hey. He's here me'oid livli le'echo b'tzalim chaim klal. Rabbeinu warned very much not to eat raw onions at all, even with oil or with fat, even in mixture like eggs and stuff like this, and even on Shabbos. And he poked fun on those that said Shabbos is a mitzvah to eat, harmful things, which is raw onions. He says they're very bad for a few things. And he mentioned a few illnesses and sicknesses that raw onions cause. He says, but I forgot them specifically. He says, but the principle, says Rav Nosson, he was very machmir, very strict on it. And he warned very much not to eat them raw at all. He says, even in mixture, like salad or whatever it is, even on Shabbos, he says, only cooked you can eat them. He says, in the beginning we asked him, because we heard the Baal Shemtov, they warned not to eat raw onions. And he says, we started thinking a few things, mentioning a few things, other things that are not good. And as we heard all these. There's nothing much to say except that Rabbeinu said so. So let's just keep and see and do what Rabbeinu said. Let's take a look at Sicha 266. Rabbeinu says that there are tzaddikim that are so great in Torah, they are so well versed in lots for him, and the midrashim of Rabbeinu, of the Rabbi Zechon Chazal, and because of that, they cannot be mechadish in the Torah, because they are so familiar with everything. The minute you start saying Torah, and you also be mechadish something, reveal something, create something, they're incredible erudites. I don't know how erudition, I don't know what you call it, confuses them. And they begin explaining a lot of things. And a lot of things they know from Sfarim. And because of that, their thought are being confused. And they can bring out a nice chiddush. Nice, and then he took, for example, one of the great people in his generation, he couldn't say Torah because of that. And what we understood from Rabbeinu, he says, when you want to be mechadish chidushim, you have to constrict your mind. Don't run and confuse your mind with all kinds of preamblums that are not necessary for your chiddush. It makes it like you don't know any of these things. Then you'll be able to bring about many chidushim step by step. And he spoke a lot from that, but it's not possible to explain this properly in writing. Again, all the divrei Torah, when you're mechadish, it comes from two inyonim. You're taking two inyonim and you bring them together. And the idea is that you take a dvar Torah and you look at it and you think about it, and you put another dvar Torah, maybe it's a kasha, maybe it's and you allow your mind to roam in the specific dvar Torah that you're dealing with. And what happens is that The Divrei Torah are naturally alive. Every single word is alive. Every single Dvar Torah is alive. And within it, there are many, many, many more inyanim and issues that are hidden. Now, the thing is that when you learn the Torah, when you have a Dvar Torah inside your mind, what happens, hold on just a second, you are actually causing for the Divrei Torah within the Torah to conjugate with one another. And the Dvar Torah that you are learning, so it comes and it propagates a new insight into the Torah. And the thing that comes out of it is Torah itself that was hidden within the Dvar Torah that nobody else saw before you did. Now, you're following your imagination, but if the cleaner your imagination is, the more emes the Dvar Torah is. The main thing about a Chiddush is that it should be true. It should be emes. For example, there was a sefer that was published during the days of the Gra, the Vilna Gaon. And the Vilna Gaon liked it a lot. Now, it was a rather simple sefer. There was a Chiddush that the Vilna Gaon liked a lot. And he said as follows, that particular Chiddush said as follows. It said, why do we start the tefillah in the morning with the Chiddush of Odin Olam? Why is it the first thing that we say during prayers? So this Baal Mechadeh said, before the first Korbanos in the Beis Hamikdash, the Kahanim, would say, listen, those observers, the scouts that watch the east, and ask them, can you, have the face of the east illuminated? Did the sun come up? And then when they says, okay, the face of the east have been illuminated, and then they would start Avodas Hayoim. So Chazal says, why did they ask, that has the face of the east become illuminated? So Chazal said, the Gemara says, to mention the schos of the sleepers of Hebron, Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, and the wives of the Marishon and his wife, and you mention the schos, and then you can start that avodah. It says you're talking about Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. Now, Avram Avinu was the first one that called the Kadosh Baruch Hu Adon, Master. So, since we start the Avodas Hamikdash with the mention of the schos of Avram Avinu, the sleepers of Hebron, well, to start the davening with Adon Olam, which mentions the schos of Avram Avinu, who is the first who called the Kadosh Baruch Hu Adon, Master. It sounds like, okay, sounds right. Nice juxtaposition. The Vilna Gaon loved it. This is not the most fanciful, most complicated, most amazing revelation there are. It's quite straightforward. But the Vilna Gaon liked it because it is true. The main mile of a Chiddush is the amount of truth in it. So let's say we take another saying. It says, "V'lo sasur min advarim asher yamru alecha yamin u'smol," and you shall not deviate from the words that will tell you left or right. Rashi says, even when they tell you that the left is right and the right is left. Then Rashi continues, how much more so when they tell you the left is left and right is right. So how do you go about making chiddush out of this? One of the techniques, you take a look and you say, like, if you already said that I should listen to my rabbis when they tell me that the left is right and right is left, and that is the opposite of what I think, why do I need to be told that I should follow them when they tell me that the right is right and the left is left? And that is when I agree with them. I mean, obviously, if it's opposite of the way I perceive it, I'm supposed to listen to them. When it's the way I perceive it, I should. So in Achinami, that Rashi does say, Kol Sheken, how much more so? But nevertheless, it is still seems superfluous. Why would I need it? So you can say that there are, which is an idea that stems out of this, perplexity, akasha. This is why would Rashi see it necessary to come up, to bring this Indian, that how much more so that when they tell you that the right is right and left is left. And you can say, we're actually talking about two different madrigas of Aminos Chachamim. The first one is that you have an understanding of what is right and what is left, what is right and what is wrong, let's say, okay, for those purposes. So I know and I believe that the Rav is much smarter than I am. He's much holier than I am. So when I come to him and he tells me about something that I think is right, and he tells me, this is left. Or when I think him is left, he tells me, no, this is right. Okay, I believe him. But there is a higher madrega of Aminos Chacham, that my entire grading system of what is right and what is wrong is predicated on what the Rav says is right and wrong. It's not that I have my own opinion, but I believe that he is smarter than I am. No. My entire value system is based on his. This is a culture, and this is a much higher madrega. When he says is right, I say is right. What he says is left, I said. In other words, my right and left are predicated on my emunah of what the Rav is saying. I have no mind of my own. I follow his basic premises, and this is how I build that. So here is a chiddush on that particular. These are chiddushim. The main thing is not to go to true emblems. The Rabbeinu says, take a look, find out what is the question here. Why is it said that? And then, like in any creative process, open up the fan of your mind and let your mind roam with what could possibly be the explanation. And then you'll catch a thread and your focus will close in and you'll be able to come up with a chiddush. How much is chiddush worth? All depends on how clean is your madam. Yishboch b'ezat Hashem. We'll be mezakrias b'ezat Hashem to be mechadish chiddush shel emes. Chiddush shel emes, because every chiddush, builds oilamis. Every Chiddush, as we said, like the words of the Tfilas, also the word of the Torah, has Oilamus, Neshama, and Elokus in it. Asher Aish, that is Zechet Mechadish Chiddush Torah, it actually creates new heaven and earth, which bring about rain or shine and grow things. Ruchnis and Begashmis. It's a whole different Sicha. But nevertheless, Kadosh Baruch Hu should zakas to follow the Tzadikim, to help the Tzadikim, to be held by the Tzadikim. Chadash Kiddush Torah. At Hashem, remember the main thing: to keep the mind clean. Keep the mind clean. It's so devious. Oh, it's just this, just that, just at Hashem. Hopefully, as many hashes as possible will come tomorrow. Bezat Hashem. All these terrorists are being released. Bezat Hashem will be annihilated. Bezat Hashem very quickly. Bezat Hashem. Kadosh Baruch Hu will defeat them. Kadosh Baruch Hu Hashem will defeat all the Erev Rav from amongst us. And we zeh to Bezat Hashem to Geula Shlema and the Bias Mashiach Tzidkenu. Bezat Hashem im Heira Be'aminu Amen. That's it for tonight.